Hey, how's it going, everybody? Officially, Winter Split has come to a conclusion, except for, as we mentioned, the APAC regional championship qualifier, which they'll be playing actually today. It's probably already gone down. It started at like 5 a.m. my time, so very, very early. But we should have our 16 teams for the major. But because certain teams have either not qualified or have basically decided that they need to make some adjustments, we're already starting to see teams disband, change up, and kind of all over the place. So we've got a handful of rosters to talk about. Some of these players actually stopped by my stream earlier today. Twitch.tv/Lawler if you guys want to hang out with us. Tuesdays and Sundays we don't. But some insight provided, as well as some things to kind of look forward to in the future. There's only a handful of some for us to really get into, but expect over the next few weeks, and as well, like once we get into the spring trade window, for a lot of these to really change up. But expect early tryouts and stuff already to start happening now, like months prior, just to make sure that they can get in form as quickly as possible. We're going to try to cover as many across all different regions as well, trying to do more coverage of other stuff. And obviously with the major coming up, we're going to be doing a lot of coverage on the minor regions as well, just to try to educate you guys. A lot of really fun stuff that we're actually doing too, about how to chant appropriately and stuff coming up near on the channel. But as for the news stuff, the first one is going to be about 3 Rats. This has obviously been the most dominant team in the APAC region outside of Tokyo Verde, and looking pretty dang good. A lot of people have been wondering when they're going to get picked up after the KCP or the Pioneers went and picked up another team in a different region over in OCE, and whether that was going to happen for other regions as well. Gaiman, I think it is, Gaiman Gladiators has officially picked up 3 Rats, though. They say they're coming into Rocket League esports scene. Happy to announce they're bringing on board the #1 team in the APAC South Division, which I think is really cool. Something I did know is that OSM was actually coaching officially the team, so cool to see that you are seeing some content creators that are assigned to organizations or otherwise, but are also still able to coach or be involved. Seeing that same thing with broadcast talent, but the best team in APAC South, which will be competing in the qualifier, curious to see how they did, if Tokyo Verde is running it back and they're going to make another appearance, trying not to go 0-9, or if we are going to see a different team and see some depth out of APAC, because that's what a lot of people have been asking. Why doesn't SSA region get the ability to compete in the majors? Hopefully we see some depth. That's all I'm looking for. But Gaiman Gladiators, I think that's how you say that. Sorry if I butchered it. I don't know if it's gaming or Gaiman. Either way, organization coming in, and Maxu, Chaotic, and not LCT are going to be officially represented. So pretty cool stuff, and excited to see how they do and how they did, because I'm recording this in the past. Also, speaking of teams that are kind of living in the past, jokes aside, nothing against the team. Love the team, actually. Heroic, their playstyle has not been successful. Still focusing on the very pass-oriented heavy playstyle, and Oli was originally a good fit. Super mechanical, a lot of talent, just like Astro, but also the ability to play unselfish. But unfortunately, team hasn't qualified this split. Not doing too well in winter. Heroic does put out thank you, Oli. Heroic and Oli have decided to part ways in a mutual agreement. Oli is a very skilled and talented Rocket League player. Despite our best efforts, we have not been able to get the best out of him or the team as a unit. All the best in your next adventure. So this definitely feels like, hey, Oli is the one wanting to go and pursue other options. Whether he ends up on another team that is rumored to be making some changes or not, which we'll talk about probably at the end, is yet to be seen. But it does feel like, hey, we know Oli is talented and he's a very good player. I think he's super underrated still and just hasn't been able to showcase it on the main stage. But this is a player that's probably going to be one of the most hot commodities in Europe for free agency purposes. But Heroic, it feels like in this tweet is more so hinting that, like, hey, Oli is the one that wants to leave rather than us letting him go and trying to find a new player. So again, I could be reading too far into that, but based upon the things that I've heard players talk about with Oli, Oli is probably one of the best on the team, if not the best on the team, and is going to be looking for a new team. Next, after their best performance in regionals, we kind of briefly hinted at this. I just wanted to provide more context to it. It is official that Cookster's Minions has disbanded. They have gone previously in Regional 2 and won 0-3. But now, not only do they get out of groups and get a win, but they also are finally top 12. But immediately after that result, they are choosing to disband. So they put out a tweet saying after the latest RLCS results, it is decided it is best for us to try other options. Every member of the team will be posting and explaining their individual situation, but orgs and players can already contact them. Cookster in particular says that all of us were kind of disappointed by the slow improvement. And even though we were seeing improvement, it wasn't at a rapid enough rate. Obviously a top 16 team consistently. They always made the main event. They just were never able to progress well past that. Even though most recently they got 9 to 12. But they're leaving on good terms. There is also talks This is one of the teams that did come in. Both Growly and Rye were in my channel on Twitch talking and kind of discussing about the focus and who they might be trying out and kind of things that they're doing. I did get Growly to admit that if they try out different iterations, he will let me know how things go. Whether we will make those things public or not is going to be up to how he feels when I ask, when he lets me know that information. So as of right now, Growly and Rye are sticking together as a duo and are going to try to see how things go with testing out new thirds. But what that will be, who will be available, how things are going to play out, I mean, that's a long process that we'll have to wait and see on. As for Cookser is looking for a new team. We'll have to see how it plays out. Another team that we used to see a lot of that hasn't been able to make it back in, kind of like Heroic, is actually BS Plus Competition. Team that was once kind of associated to a top 12, top 10 consistently. Hasn't really had too much success ever since the Chronic left. They do put out a tweet saying that God Smilla is no longer part of the RLCS roster. He said it's sad as we love him. That's why we want him to stay with us one way or another. Time will tell. Don't know if they're hinting that he's going to become a coach, content creator, or something to that extent. But they do say thank you, and our door will always be open for you. Smilla does end up putting out messages on a public Discord that ended up getting leaked out, implying that I'm only certain about taking a break for a while, and saying that maybe he's going to get back into the game. Maybe he's going to go for a different team. He does follow it up with a statement saying, not sure whether I'll be back as a coach or something after that. It was my original plan, but who knows what's going to happen. So it does seem like his intentions are to possibly go into coaching, who he's going to coach for or what's going to be available. Not sure if he has coaching background or what the situation is, but that is his general intention. Now, I will say with all these roster changes and stuff going on, I'm doing my best to obviously update them as always. If you guys are trying to stay up to date on these as well, down in the comments, in the description, I should say, there is a link to my roster document. If you click on that, I would try to update it. Some of these things are going to be a little bit behind just because they are not solidified. I usually don't like lock these in until spring has officially started and the teams are confirmed, but we'll try to be pretty proactive about it during the next bit. But with majors, all the teams that are going to the major are staying the same. There is no trade window, so none of these teams can officially change unless they disband. As of right now, as a quick update, Triple Trouble, Cookster's Minions, and Stormtroopers have disbanded completely. They are no longer a team. So Heroic is looking for a new change, and there's some others across the board. BS Plus, like we just talked about. FC Barcelona disbanded way back. But there is some teams that we're going to be seeing adjustments and changes to based upon possible missing pieces and team availability. Whether that'll happen or not, again, only time will tell. It's kind of tough with trying to do these ahead of time just because there is so many moving parts. There is one team in particular that I want to give their own video, which is Team Vitality. I'll be talking about them a lot in detail in the next video within the next week, I would say. But there's a lot of stuff coming up in preps for the major and stuff. And then we'll have also supplemental content in between as well. And a video that I don't think you guys are expecting out of me. This is a project that I've been working a lot on behind the scenes, and I'm excited to put it all together. So hopefully more stuff like that in the near future. So if you guys are looking forward to that kind of stuff, even though I can't give it away completely, make sure you guys hit subscribe and like the videos, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.